Once again, Chris Odom here, creator of Open Transactions and co-founder of Stash. I think this is my fourth video now. The theme of these videos has been how Stash believes that Bitcoin is going to change. In this video, I want to talk about market exchange and the disruptions that are coming. So let's get right to it. Now take a look at this screenshot of our Android wallet. Notice how there's a paired Stash node right here, but there's also a couple of hosted accounts below that. What are these hosted accounts? Unlike my StashNode Pro, which is a personal device, these are powerful Stash nodes with professional operators meant for large numbers of users. They're comparable to the Bitcoin exchanges of today, but with some important differences. Let's talk about Mt. Gox for a minute. For those who don't remember, Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin exchange in Japan that lost over $700 million worth of Bitcoin just a few years ago. And part of what we're trying to do at Stash is to solve the Mt. Gox problem. We want to make it impossible for these kinds of third-party services to commit theft or fraud. And there were several problems at Mt. Gox. First, Mt. Gox had control over their internal database and they were able to create fake balances, unlike these hosted accounts here, which operate using open transactions, so they can't forge receipts. Now also, Mt. Gox had direct possession of all the funds that had been deposited there, unlike these hosted accounts here, which are meant to store funds in multi-sig pools, so a node operator can't steal the money. And number three, Mt. Gox was also the digital issuer for all the fiat currencies that were transacted on the exchange. All those bitcoins were being traded for digital dollars, and they were the issuer of those digital dollars, as well as the transaction processor. Now, if we look at these hosted accounts here, where there's a separation of powers, the digital issuer is a separate entity issuing dollars or yuan as colored coins, which users can then deposit into their hosted accounts. So in our view, the digital currency issuer should have no knowledge or control, no connection whatsoever to any of the node operators where exchange occurs. The issuer's compliance requirements begin and end at the retail point of sale, with the blockchain providing a legal separation between him and any transaction processing. So these hosted accounts, they're kind of like the Bitcoin exchange of the future, except without custody of the backing funds and bereft of any ability to commit theft or fraud. At Stash, we believe there's a lot of money to be made in building these enterprise class nodes. The long-term picture is entirely replacing third-party services with software and consumer devices. Remember, each Stash node also contains a fully operational exchange. You might ask, but what good is an exchange if there's only one or two or three users on it? After all, the StashNode Pro is a personal device. But would it surprise you to know that a fully decentralized exchange is possible across these devices? All you need is a P2P discovery layer, and the StashNode Pro already has a fully functional Bitmessage node running inside of it. As long as users get the same functionality, we believe they will be likely to prefer exchanges who can't steal. And in the long run, they will prefer distributed exchange because there's less regulatory hassle. Stash will monetize either way, since we are building personal devices as well as enterprise scale nodes. Now I should preface this demo by saying once again, Stash Toolkit is a low-level tool and does not represent the sort of user interface that we're building for end users in the long run, such as you can see with our Android wallet. But it's good enough to demo the functionality. So we've got a hosted account here, which I've named Zimbabwe. And let's pretend for the sake of discussion that this is a node that is part of a pool, and maybe there's another node in Singapore, and another one in Dubai, and another one in Japan, and so on, so that no single node has the ability to steal funds out of the pool. Now you can see we've already got a few accounts here set up. We've got Bob, who owns a bunch of sample shares, 5,000 sample shares. And I've also created another NIM. You can see I've got two NIMs. Actually I have three NIMs, but Bob and Alice are the two we're working with right now. And so Alice has a bunch of dollars. Now Bob has shares, Alice has no shares. Alice has dollars, Bob has no dollars. So this is a perfect setup for market trading to go on. If we go to the exchange, let's see, Bob is going to make, you can see right now, by the way, that there's no markets at all on this node anyway. And I'm going to create a ask for Bob. He's going to sell some shares. He sells sample shares for dollars. And we'll do a limit order. Say he's selling, let's say 25 shares, price per one. That could be price per 1,000 shares or price per million shares. You get a bulk pricing. Basically, it would be like a different market. And he's going to charge, say, $3 per share. And the offer will expire in 1 day. Okay, just hit refresh here. All right. Now you can see, first of all, that the market has been created. These sample shares for Mt. Gox dollars, and there's currently an ask, a $3 ask, which we can see on the market that Bob has placed actually. And so because I am Bob, I can go and look at Bob's offers, which is the more private data here. Here's his offer to sell sample shares, 25 of them, at the price of $3 each. And there's still 25 left available for sale. And there's no trades have been completed yet against this offer. Okay, so now here's what I'm going to do. Since I have both NIMs in the same wallet, I'm just going to switch over to Alice and have her place an offer to buy. So she wants to buy shares for dollars. And say that she's buying 30 shares, which is more than Bob is selling. So this should theoretically exhaust Bob's offer and close it out and leave Alice's open on the market with 5 left to buy. Price per one, we'll put the same price and we'll continue. Refresh offers. All right, now exactly what I said. You can see that Alice placed an offer to buy 30 sample shares and 25 are already completed. So there are 5 left still on the offer. And we don't see any completed trades yet just because I haven't refreshed my receipts from my accounts, but I could do that and they should show up. There we go. So you can see there's Alice's completed trade. Not sure if I can view the receipts from here. Maybe not. Maybe if I go into historical trades though. And here I can view the receipts from the trade that occurred. There's a signature, of course. So there's a successful trade. Now, Bob's offer should be entirely closed out. We'll go back to Bob and take a look at his offers, and yep, they're completely empty. Of course, they're still in his historical records. Bob's ask is entirely completed. We have a final receipt for that. There's the final receipt. So that'll never trade again. That one's closed out. And then Alice's bid is still open. She's had a trade occur, but she has not got a final receipt yet because her offer is still open out of the market. We go back to Alice and see her offer and the trade that she did. Now, once again, this is not the user interface that we envision for users of our markets. This is just a demonstration using our low-level Stash toolkit to show the functioning of the protocol. In my next video, I'd like to show you guys how our smart contracts work. And until then,